So we've just finished dropping in on a kitchen renovation I'm working on in Chelsea on West 22nd Street. And we're going to be heading down now just to the PATH train around the corner, but you're welcome to come on my commute. So we're on the corner of 8th Avenue and 22nd Street, and sadly the Rite Aid that used to be here is gone. A lot of places didn't survive the pandemic, so it's interesting to see what is going on in New York now. So I just want to point out a couple little buildings across the street. These are some of the oldest buildings still standing in New York. There's a little row of them over here. Now this is a pretty little sidewalk cafe. I don't know how they managed to put it in there behind the city bike. Oh, and they've got this storefront for rent. So this little series of buildings are some of the oldest in Manhattan, on the corner of 21st Street and 8th Avenue. And Blossom Organic Vegetarian Cuisine was a longtime restaurant here, and it looks like it is available for rent. I think these buildings here are landmarked. The one on the corner goes back quite a ways and has a courtyard in the back. They close off the they close off the street here pretty often for a school that's on that block, so the kids can play recess there. Beautiful terrace all along this block. And they do a really nice job at planting flowers in the medians. They're going to have some sunflowers blooming here before too long. Some of these are really nice. They're almost more greenhouses than they are restaurant seating. Let me just focus on this gate for a moment. This building is called Chelsea Court. And the ironwork that went into this gate. Once upon a time, people really, cared about all the details. This just goes to the courtyard. This will be the service entrance for this building. And they'll keep all the garbage there before it goes out. But also this is the entrance used for anyone who doesn't live in the building that's working in the building. Take a look at that. I play a game with the kids. See how many of these railings that the kids can find. You'll see here, right here, it's a little bit different than this one. And this was meant for you to scrape your shoes on. So you'll see it here on some of the very older buildings. They've got the one piece of the railing just a little bit different. Back when horses and carriages and mud and all of the other things you didn't want in your house to scrape off your boots. And that's a beautiful lobby. Unfortunately, this is the newer railings, but a lot of those older railings still apply, or they're still around, and we kind of have fun going on hunts for those boot scrapers. This wisteria tree, I bet, is beautiful when it blooms. This was an old carriage house. Again, you can see that the curved archway in the center and the two doors on either side. And this building with the wisteria all the way up. Not great if that's your window behind it, but I'm sure it's really pretty when it blooms. On my right is high school, Public School 11 in New York City. The high schools are called PS. And this is what a New York high school looks like. Quite large. Of course, all the buildings and all the neighborhoods are different. And they all have different reputations as well. Public School 1, PS1, is in Queens, and it's become an art center. And it's open a couple days a week or once I'll have to look at the schedule because everything's changed now. But they have bands and dancing in the courtyard. So to go to PS1 in Queens is a fun afternoon of dancing and drinks and looking at art. Now look at this fence. I just stumbled upon this. I've never seen it before. How comical. I have no idea what this means. It's a bullet to the eye of somebody. I'm going to step back. This is 305 West 21st Street. So if anybody knows anything about this building or this fence, I would love to hear about it. I was on 9th Avenue before. I'm sorry. I thought I was on 8th Avenue. I'm way over west. So those little, and I should have known that. I lived in this neighborhood like 25 years. Those little old buildings are on 9th Avenue. Here we are on 8th Avenue. This makes much more sense. Salvation Army has been on this corner forever. And everything else seems to kind of come and go a little bit. Nice mural of Einstein. There's a number of murals with this same sort of colored face and technique. I'm not sure who the artist is. Hello. Barbershop. See, I'm on the hunt now for those boot scrapers I don't see anymore. But here's an interesting detail above this window. It's got a helmet on. I wonder if it's Zeus. A goddess in the center. And then another face over this window. It's a very old building.
semana yo era ocupado de ella.
Oh.
Pero él
And the detail on this one over here on the left is really... So we've got a really simple federal building here in the brick. And then next door to it, more of a Beaux-Arts detailing. Spy this car. Gotta get back on the sidewalk before I get run over. This is a real industrial building that I'm in front of now. Big doors. They probably did use those for carriages or even trucks. And it looks like it's a commercial space right now. Maybe an art studio of some kind. Here's some more faces carved in the entranceway. Get a little closer. It's kind of a funny looking guy. She's a little bit more classical. All kinds of trash out today. Starting to get hot in June, so it's going up to 85 degrees today, which is hot in Celsius. And between, it's probably humid on top of this smoke as well. It feels a little bit oppressive, and the city feels very quiet. It's funny, it's busy, but it feels quiet. Hot Saturdays in August feel the quietest in New York. Hi. I honestly have never seen so many flowers in New York. I think during the pandemic when people were home, they were gardening, even in their small little spaces. I think that's something new. Some really pretty ironwork in front of this building. Now this area in front of me and across the street, SVA, is School of Visual Arts. So it's one of the many, many colleges here in New York. And I think they have a few locations, and this appears to be two of them. The job of the New York doorman has become exponentially harder with the amount of packages that get delivered. They used to just handle, a few things, but now with Amazon, some of the older buildings don't have any room to put all the packages. The lobbies really fill up. Also a lot more food deliveries that they have to deal with. Now tucked in here is a little tiny cemetery. This is called the Third Cemetery of the Spanish Portuguese Synagogue. And I don't know if that is next door. Actually don't see a synagogue. Old gravestones. Sad to say they are not resting in peace today. I like these old remnants of former industries. Across the street on 6th Avenue, you can see it says Wolf Paper and Twine Company. Once upon a time. You can see this old building here, the Charles R. Ruger in 1929. Looks like it was painted in 1929. And then next to it, this very modern building from probably the 60s. And the church at the end of the block, no idea when that was a church. It was very famously or infamously known as the Limelight, which was a big club in the 80s owned by a Gaetian. And he got busted for drugs. He owned, I think, Tunnel, Palladium, USA maybe. A whole bunch of nightclubs at the same time were running. It was fabulous. Anybody could go. You could be Bridge and Tunnel kid, you can show up in your sneakers and jeans, or a club kid, drag queen, all out. You could be a mom, pearls on, it didn't matter. Everybody partied there. It was like a $5 cover, if I remember. And then when it got shut down, they all got shut down. New York City lost a big part of its culture when all of those clubs shut down. I think it became a gym, and then it became a shopping mall. This building, built in 1900, really pretty detailing. So this is 6th Avenue, and the subway actually used to run along this street. And so in the second story, they would have really big windows up there so that people from the train could see what the stores were selling. think it's funny that there's a fruit stand outside of Trader Joe's. They probably have much better prices. This is quite an impressive building. Wanted you to see the top of it. Sometimes you just have to stop and look at the detailing. So the newer buildings behind it, no detailing at all. Really sad. But something like this, I think we're lucky to still have standing in New York. They sold Chinese newspapers here. And these units were put in, I guess probably about 7 years ago. You can charge your phone, use it as a 911, and you can make a call here as well. These replace the actual phone booths, which you notice don't exist anymore. And they kept the phone booths around for a long time just because they could advertise on them. But they've replaced them with this, run by Link New York City. So if you're in a pinch and you have a charger, you can charge your phone. And I just realized that this building is home to a Masonic Lodge. So they might be the ones paying for this building. And there's the Masons flag there. All right, well, I've got to head down to the PATH train and get back to the office. So thank you very much for joining me on my commute today.